Hi there, welcome to our YouTube channel. And today I'm talking about age is nothing but a number. Age is nothing but a number. So many people are always asking questions about age differences and should a woman be older or can a woman be older and all those kind of things. Well, today I'm going to answer some of those questions in this video. But before we start, please note that we now have Super Chat available on this YouTube channel. So right now, while you're watching this video, you can actually go and support our channel. All right, you can go and do something to support us. So use the Super Chat link, is right there. You can click it while you are watching the video. All right, and don't forget, of course, subscribe, like, share, and write a comment. All right. So age is nothing but a number. I have a message titled Statistics about dating, and one of them, as regarding age, is that statistics shows that the younger you are when you make your decision of who to marry, or when you marry, if you are very young, the chances are high that that marriage will not make it. All right, that's what the stats say. Of course, I know this won't work for everybody, so it's statistics. But they say the statistics shows that the younger you are when you marry or when you make a decision of who to marry, affects the success rate of that marriage. And statistics also shows that the older you are when you pick a spouse or when you do get married, that the marriage is more likely to make it. So hey, if you're here and you're feeling I'm getting old, don't worry, you are actually on the track to having a successful marriage. Okay, and I don't know all the reasons why, but I think one of the reasons is because when you're very young, the things that are priority for you, are kind of different. When you're very young, you are more tripped by a guy's hairstyle. But when you get older, you are tripped by his lifestyle. All right, the kind of things that excite you when you're young are kind of different. So I know a lot of people, when they are too young and enter a permanent relationship or a marriage, they usually, statistics says they don't make it. All right, so let me answer some other questions. A common one people ask is that, can a man and a woman be the same age or age range when they marry? Well, I and my wife were classmates. We were the same set in our, I don't know if they call it high school abroad, but in Nigeria we call it secondary school. We were literally classmates, even though I'm 1 or 2 years older than her. She's a small girl. She dislikes to argue, but I'll deal with her, trust me. So even though I'm 1 or 2 years older than her, but we're literally like classmates in terms of school. And so one of the issues to note, if you guys are very close in age, is that the man has to grow fast. Or grow, because women generally grow faster. This is why generally you notice that women marry men that are a bit older than them, because women generally grow mentally, they grow emotionally, they grow faster. So women generally get the attention of older men because of most of the things women like. Older men are able to provide easily. So women get the attention of older men as opposed to their mates. Okay? If you're going to marry and both of you are mates, it means the man must be willing to grow, and the woman must be willing to wait for that man to grow, because you'll find out that she gets a bit exposed quickly. She gets attention from all kinds of men. For instance, if they both finish schooling at the same time, she can get attention from a manager of a company. She can get attention from a CEO. She has a tendency to walk with and talk with people of a higher level in life, as opposed to the guy that is just an applicant at this time. So the guys is talking to a guys looking for jobs. So if you're going to marry at the same age, factor in the stage of life you are in. Factor in how fast can this guy grow. Factor in how patient is this lady going to be, because maybe your friends might marry older men, more successful men, and you are marrying a guy, both of you are starting life together. You must be okay with that, all right? That both of you are starting life together. So that's one thing you need to note if both of you are around the same age. Because if the man is not growing fast, it makes it more difficult for the woman to follow him. A woman's role usually involves her, supporting and following a man. If the man in the case is not growing fast, it makes it difficult for her to be able to follow him, because she feels she's moving at a faster rate. Now, we've seen these things over the years become a problem in the marriage. Okay, so take note of that. Second point is when there is a very large gap. Okay, not a normal gap, a large gap. So something like 20 years age difference, 15 years age difference. Now, ordinarily, this should not be a problem. The only issue is that this unique situation requires flexibility and maturity. I'll say that again. It requires flexibility and maturity. It requires flexibility on the man. If the man is like 20 years older or 15 years older than the woman, it requires flexibility on his end because he's marrying somebody in a different generation. There's a generational gap. That means both of you are not thinking the same things, you're not talking the same things. For instance, there are some generation we call TikTok generation. So the things that appeal to them at the younger generation, if you are 20, for instance, is very different from what a 40-year-old man is thinking about. So the kind of thing that a 40-year-old is thinking about, probably thinking about settling down, thinking about housing, thinking about raising kids, thinking about responsibilities, stuff like that, career advancement. But somebody at 20 usually has some more time, wants to have fun, wants to hang out with friends. So if you're not careful, that generational gap can be a problem. So the older person must be flexible, all right, with the younger person's timeline and interest. The younger person has to be mature, all right, with the older person's interest. So the kind of friends you would, so by the time you have functions that involves friends of both parties coming together, the younger person must be able to adapt to dealing with the older friends of his spouse. And now the older spouse has to be ready to be flexible with the younger friends of their spouse. So you must know how to, have fun, how to not take things too seriously, how to flow with whatever that generation is into. You must be okay with it. You must be able to accept it, all right? So things like that, it requires flexibility and maturity. The third thing I will talk about is when the woman is older. When the woman is older. So this is another very common question I receive. People tell me all the time, oh, can I marry an older woman and all that? I actually have another message titled, When She's Richer, Older, and Smarter. So there are times when a woman is richer, or older, or more advanced educationally, or whatever. So, but this case, I'm just talking about the age difference now. When a woman is older, it can work. There's nothing wrong with it, either scripturally or societally, or statistically, or in terms of life. There's nothing wrong with it. The only issue is that, again, there are peculiarities to it. When a woman is older, can you guys handle the social pressure? Because people will come and say, oh, I heard your wife is older, or sometimes your in-laws, your parents can be like, oh, we don't want to marry an older woman. Why are you marrying this older man? Can you deal with social pressures? What people will say, in my part of the world, people generally talk about people a lot. So if you're marrying an older woman, people will talk about you. Can you deal with social pressures? Another thing you have to think about is old age. If she's older than you, it means she's going to age before you as a guy. And generally, because of childbirth and other things, women tend to age, quicker, and it tends to show. So are you okay with it and all that? And sometimes these women have to deal with insecurities of, oh, I'm getting old. Is he going to trade me in for a younger person? These are things you just need to take note of. So ordinarily, a woman can be older. There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to be willing to deal with in-laws, deal with what people will say, deal with, both of you living together. So on that major thing, in this kind of case, is that the woman must be ready to respect the man, no matter his age. Because sometimes if you're not careful, the woman can start saying, why are you behaving like a little boy? So those are terms and statements you must never say. You must understand that this man is the head of this home. He is your head. If you're the older woman, can you respect him as your head? All right, can you give him respect? Because men worldwide love respect. I've said this so many times. In my 27 or so years of marriage counseling, whenever a couple sits before me, all the man's complaint is tied to one thing. Men don't have a lot of complaint. Their complaint is just one thing. She does not respect me. So if you're going to be an older woman marrying a younger man, are you willing to give him adequate respect? That's what you need to think about. Can you respect him? If you can respect him and he can also be mature enough to lead you, you can't criticize him anyhow. Now that there's a unique situation, you can't criticize just anyhow you like. You need to be conscious of his ego, conscious of his person, conscious of his preference, in dealing with him. So if you can manage some of these things, age is not even a number. It's not really difficult to manage age differences. Just note the peculiarities involved. A woman can be older. You can marry somebody with 20 years gap if you are ready to face. For instance, let me give you another instance. If a man is 20 years older, it means that he might reach a stage in his life where he is no more sexually active. So can you cope with this? All things being equal, if both of you die the same age, he will die 20 years before you. Can you cope with these things? So these are the practical things that will come up later when love has, waned, or let me say when emotional excitement has waned. You need to be willing to handle it. If you think you can brave it and you can handle it, hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong. So I hope this short video has been a blessing to you. Don't forget, we have Super Chat. You can support what we do and subscribe, like, share this video, and we'll look forward to getting comments from you. All right? So God bless you. Hey, North America, we're all packed and loaded, and we're heading your way. If you are in the United States of America or in Canada, we are coming to you in the year 2023. But hey, we need volunteers. We need people that will make this happen. We're having our tour and we need help. So hey, if you live in America or you live in Canada, go to the link in my bio or Pastor Mildred's bio and register to join the volunteer team, and let's make this happen. All right, Love That Marriage, you want to cover as many cities and as many provinces as possible. So it doesn't matter where you stay. As long as you are inside the United States of America or you are in Canada, please register to join the volunteer team and let's make it happen. Let's make history. All right.